Hi everybody, welcome to the show. Today is episode 56, planning January projects. All the cats are in here, so it's ridiculous time. But we're gonna try to work through. I don't know why we got another kitten. Anyway, we're still in here and it's like 33 degrees. But I decided we're going to stay in here until it snows because the light's so much better. So I'm going to try to... Oh, it tore me. We're going to try to keep doing it until it snows, which will probably be next week because today's like... Oh, it's... Oh, no. It's showers. No. No snow in this forecast. So anyway, that's Brienne. She's a nightmare. Anyway, please excuse the ruckus. Do I have anything updates? No updates. Trying to think if I update you about Lola's thing. Her ongoing skin infection. I took her in last time. I don't remember when it was, last week sometime. And the lady brought her out. He said, good, keep doing what you're doing, which I don't know what that means. So they didn't tell me to bring her back in 2 weeks like they normally do. So I'm just going to keep giving her baths once a week and keep an eye on it, and if I see anything, then I guess I'll bring her back. I'm gonna keep going once a week for like a month or so and see what happens. Because she goes in next month anyway for her, or in February for her annual, so I'm just gonna keep doing them once a week until then, and then we'll see what he has to say. And then I guess if they call me and they're like, where have you been? Then I guess I'll bring her in. Anyway. I just can't be bothered. So, I don't know. What are we doing? I'm wearing my robe because it's cold. Because it's 33 degrees. So I'm wearing a robe. I do have a finished item. I finished the double layer hat for my husband, who's been wearing it all morning. So I guess he likes it. This is you'll see this again next week for dye project, but this was the skein that we dyed black, and then we had some resist at the figure 8 ties, so we got this little bit of whites coming through, and I actually like it, and he seemed to like it, so my plan right now is to not do anything at all. Well, that part did not block out very well. I had something happen. Can you see this? Looks like a zipper. I had something happen and I dropped down and fixed it like 3 times, and because I thought that maybe there was a twist or something, but I couldn't see anything, and I thought for sure that would block out, but not yet. So maybe with wear. I wanted to compare because this base is Dyer Supplier and this base is from Wool to Dye For. They have the same fiber content and the same yardage, so in my mind I'm thinking they're probably from the same mill. Okay, I think they're from the same mill. If anyone knows that, please, if you know for sure either way, please let me know. I do have to say that from the beginning, the Dyer Supplier has not felt as soft as the Wool to Dye For. And this I wear a lot, and you see it's very pilly, which happens when you have, soft stuff with halos and stuff. That's going to happen. I wear this when I fall asleep in the living room on the couch because I put it over my eyes to keep the sun out in the light so I can sleep in the you know, it's like asleep in the middle of the day when I need a nap. So these are made exactly the same way. You know, exactly. Why does that one look so much shorter? Maybe the yardage is shorter. I'll have to check it. But they were supposed to be the same. But I do not feel that the Dyer Supplier is as soft. I'm wondering with wear and, you know, just general, whatever this is called. There's a word for like agitation, but it's not agitation. If I had got this yarn, if I had paid indie prices and got this yarn, I'd be so disappointed. But if I paid indie prices and got this yarn, I would be happy. So I don't know why there's such a difference, but I was before saying that I thought there was a difference and I wasn't impressed with this one. But I am impressed with the wool to dye for. There's a clear difference for me in feel and cushiness. But I don't know if that's because this one's been worn for, because I remember in the skein feeling this was not as plump, and this, because remember I just dyed this for Vampire Bride, and it is plump in the skein. This was not. It felt like regular, like sock yarn. I did not feel that there was any cashmere in it. It did not feel particularly soft. Anyway, not 100%, you know, with that hat. Kind of like mad that it took me almost a full month because I only worked on it at night. But this is too much time for a hat that I am not 100% about. So I'm kind of like, whatever. Okay, so let's go into whips. This has been a really just bad time. So I'm going to start you with the sweater. I'm starting the base is the compass sweater. And if you remember, I couldn't get gauge. Okay, so my gauge is, I think her gauge is like 12 by 14, 12 stitches, 14 rows. Mine is 15 stitches and 20 rows. So I was going to do the size 42. I don't know why, because I just did my math and none of those would have fit because my bust size is 35. So this just doesn't make any sense. So if you remember, I did the bigger size, the 42, to make up for my difference in gauge. And I thought it was a little big. So I did it again on the size 38. And so we're just at the sleeve. I did the sleeves. I did like 4 decreases on the sleeves, tried it on, and was like, these sleeves are way too tight. So I'm not sure this is going to fit me the way I want, because I don't want it skin tight. I want like a couple inches, like maybe 2 inches of positive piece, I think. But I don't know how to get there because I'm so used to making things that are skin tight. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to block this small one. But I kind of don't want to. Because once I block, I can't just rip it out and reuse it. For some reason, once it's blocked, I have to then put it back. I have to reskein it into a hank and re-wet it and let it dry to get the kinks. Otherwise, it messes everything up. The gauge just won't be right. So I actually think I might just go with the bigger one I'm going to try them on again after the show and figure out what I'm doing, because I can't, like, I literally did 4 increases on both sleeves and tried it on, and I was like, these sleeves are way too tight, and I don't want it to be too tight, because I want it to be something comfortable, and I don't think a sweater tight all over is going to be comfortable with my skin issues. So that's where I'm at with that. And I literally, the day before was my day of frogging. Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday was I just frogged everything. Frogged all the sleeves. I had to restart the sleeves. No, I frogged back to the very first decrease, because I mark those, obviously. And then for our other whip, the cowl, I had to frog so much that this is what I still have left frogged. Like, I just frogged it in the bag and was like, we're just leaving it, because I have worked double-stranded before. Okay, obviously. I don't know how that's obvious, but obviously I've worked with 2 strands before. One of those strands has not been mohair, and it's very difficult. It might be the dark colors that I picked, that you can't always see if your mohair caught, if your needle caught that mohair while you were working or not. Okay, so I started this funnel neck, right? So I started this on 16-inch circulars. So by the time I started increases, I saw these things in here like, oh my goodness. Like just loops of mohair that didn't get caught. So there weren't that many. So I was able to get down, there weren't that many stitches. It was like 1 or 2 stitches, 3 sometimes. So at that point, I just, dropped down and with my tool, it looks like a crochet hook, and picked those stitches up. But then something happened over here that I marked, because I had to frog I had this all done. I had 30 rows done, and I was just about to start the ribbing, because I made it to the size it says, which was, let's bring it here, I made it to, okay, here's your last increase. Then you do 12 rows, and I marked the 12 rows. Can you see? I'm using different. I got these on Amazon. There is a 500 pack of silver, a 500 pack of gold, and a 500 pack of black. So I just bought them because I was tired of my colored ones always snag. Like, the paint on them always snags, and these are supposed to be rust proof. We'll see if they are. Anyway. So this is a stitch, the beginning stitch right after my last increase of that last increase round. And then you work 12 rows. This is a free pattern, so I'm not telling you anything that you're not going to know. Okay, 12 rows. And then you're supposed to, after the 12th row, you're supposed to do ribbing. I had, after the 12 rounds, I had 56 grams of the superwash and 30 grams of the mohair. So I was like, that's like half. I'm going to keep going. So I worked out my row gauge, or I worked out, I weighed before and after those 12 rounds, so I would know how much 12 rounds got me. So I figured out I could do another, I don't know, however many, 30. So after the 12, I figured out I could do another 30 and still have enough for the ribbing and the bind off. So I got to that 30 and started the ribbing, and then way over here something happened. And what happened over here was I had a drop stitch that was very far down. And I could have just tied it off. I probably could have just let it go all the way down. Probably could have. But the problem wasn't just that there was a drop stitch, because this is a pretty loose gauge that I could have pulled up a drop stitch in this quite easily. I think it's pretty stretchy. It's on a 5. Is it a size 5 or a 5 millimeter? It's on a 5 millimeter. So it's a pretty loose gauge. It's very pretty holy. You can see through it. If I hold it the right way, you can see through it. It's not a tight weave. The problem was, next to it was like at least an inch odd, where I had not got a bit of the mohair. So the mohair obviously is not as stretchy as the wool. So I think it was those two things combined that I could not pull. I pulled up that stitch. It was so hard. I pulled up that stitch and I just had this bit of it that just was unmoving and looked terrible. So I just frogged like 30 rows. I frogged the 30 and then I frogged partway through the 12. So I'm just now coming up on 20 something. So this will be done this will be done this weekend for sure. I'm still loving how it came out. I cannot wait. Do not want these to fall off. I can't wait to wear this. I mean, it is so, I am absolutely in love with the colors that I just absolutely love it. I'm hoping the mohair doesn't bother me. And I want to try it on because I want to get it done so I can wear it, because I really think this is going to be something I'm going to add to my wardrobe because I'm freezing. And all that alpaca I got that I don't know what to do with, I think I'm going to make these because alpaca grows, right? So I'm thinking I'll just make some of these and all that alpaca. Like I got the 2 skeins of that green alpaca, and then I got 2 skeins of that red alpaca. So I'm thinking I'm gonna make some of these with all that alpaca, because alpaca's warm, and if this stretches out, it doesn't matter because it doesn't have to be form-fitting. I'm so excited to have this done and wear it. Like I'm hoping I love it, so I will want to I don't know why I like making the same thing over and over. I just do. Okay, so those are whips, right? That's our dye project. Oh, squishy mail. Squishy mail. Squishy mail today is in Knitcrate. And Knitcrate, they put the thing over it so you can't see Knitcrate. They let you pick your thing again. Whatchamacallit? Your vibe. Your vibe. Is that what they're calling them? Vintage records. You're not even telling me any of the colors? Well, this is ridiculous. There's absolutely nothing on here to tell me anything about the colors. So I went with Cool, the cool tone, because that's me usually. Like mostly since we've been allowed to pick our vibes. I don't know why they call it vibes. It's weird. I've been doing typically the natural color is brown, and then the warm color is orange or yellow. And then the cool tone is green or blue. So I did the cool tone. This is Audine Wool's Harmony. The colorway is called Rhythm and Blues. 41% wool, 26% alpaca, 23% tencel, and 10% baby camel. This is worsted weight 150. So 150, that's more like an Aran weight. they're giving us needle gauges, which they don't normally do. So it says 4.5 to 5.5 millimeter, 16 to 20 stitches, which is pretty weird. This is like a it's gray. First I see gray. It's a nice heather. It's gray and then it's blue. And I know it looks green. It's looking a little green, but it's not. It's blue. It's a blue. It's not even heathered that much. Oh, now I'm seeing it more. Yeah, it's just blue and gray. It's not terrible. I'm wondering... It's nice and squishy. It's not very soft, but it's squishy. I wonder why they put tencel in here. I should probably go over here. I wonder why they put tencel in this. Because tencel is a cellulose, isn't it? And isn't it like a cooler? Like a cooler. It's like one of those cooler, like a cotton or a bamboo. It's to cool off a little bit, I think. So I'm not sure why you put tencel with alpaca, camel, and wool. That's, I mean, I've obviously seen wool and tencel blends in like sport and fingering. I probably bought this for the baby camel and I'm completely like underwhelmed by it's smushy. Now, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. I would say I would dye it black and make a top. However, the last top I made that had it had alpaca in it. Remember that green one I just made? I'm going to talk about this next weekend on Dye Project, or next week on Dye Project. No, next week is not Dye Project. Next week is Finished Items. That, like I had said before, that top really stretched all over. It wasn't like superwash where it just stretched widthwise. It stretched everywhere. The more I wore it, it just kept stretching and stretching. So that was 30 something percent alpaca. This is 26% alpaca. And I don't know what tencel does, and I don't know what baby camel does. And given the baby camel is only 10%, I'm not really worried it's going to do much of anything unless baby camel is anything like alpaca. And this will stretch. So I'm not entirely sure because, like I said, two skeins of these may make something similar to this, because this is 437 yards. So I was thinking 2 skeins of worsted is about the same yardage. So as long as I, like when we did those shawls in every like when we do the shawls in every weight, you just have to get the right needle size, right, to make it the size comparable. So that's what I'm thinking I'm going to do, especially with the alpacas that I don't know what to do with because they don't fit right. I think I might do that because it doesn't matter if I get a tight weave because it's just going to hang on me like a cowl. I think this color is ridiculous. This is just blah. Not happy with this color at all. It's very blah. Don't like it. I will definitely over dye that. And then I got 2 things of Pineapple Grove Soak, which sounds awful. So anyway, if you do get Knitcrate, I did get the they did the reveal for next month already, and that one I picked the Energize Me vibe, which was surprising. Until you see there's only two colors. There's only two colors. And they're both colors I love. And I was like sitting there like, are you kidding me? Did I get both? Did I get both again? No, I got one. So I went with the Energize Me for that one. January projects. Which is what we're doing today. Die project. This is Will to Die For's MCN high twist fingering base. This is 400 yards, 80, 10, 10, 400 yards, 100 grams. I'm doing two colors. One color is going to be black. I'm not sure what the second color is going to be yet. I have an idea, but I'm not sure. So for that, we're doing the Garter Snake Cowl by Lavanya Patricella. Okay, there we go. You see that? So this is brioche in the round, and then this is garter stitch in the round. What is that? Fat Squirrel Speak says garter in the round is against her religion. That made me laugh so hard. I was like, mine too. She's supposed to be coming out with a video on how to do that short row wise, which I assume you just go back and forth between like one stitch maybe. I'm not quite sure how that works. Curious to see though. So I have made this before, and I was not sure because the garter stitch in the round is scary until you do it. And like if you've done garter stitch flat, this is nothing like that at all. It is not like that at all. It's super easy in the round. It's so easy in the round. It's just so easy. It's two color in the round, so easy. Not at all like two color flat. I don't like two color flat. I get confused. And it's not hard because all you have to realize is that whichever one has your yarn over, that's the color you just used. But when you're going back and forth, you do them twice, and that's what I get. I have to go very, very slow. Anyway, I don't recognize that truck. Anyways, so that's going to be our die project. I really enjoyed making the first one very much. And it's a good size, even though you don't use the full skein of either one. And then your other side is reversible. It's reversible, so the other side is the other color's dominant, which is what I really love about garter and brioche, is that they're reversible. So I'm excited that to be die project, because ever since I made my first one, I wanted to make a second one, but I wasn't entirely sure on my color, and I'm still not entirely sure on my color. Okay, so we've talked about that. My main project is going to be done on this chonk. You've seen it before. This is my gauge swatch. This is the chonk. And out of this chonk, we're going to be making... Now, I'm going to give you the name of the pattern we're using as inspiration. This is a paid pattern. I have not bought it because it has basket weave, it has cables, and it has a braided edge that is sewn on afterwards. And all of those things are just big nopes for me. Like, nope, nope, nope. It is called the Nualla, Nuallan, Nualla Cape by Jen Pierce. I don't have a picture of it. It's gorgeous. But what I do have that I've showed you before is they put a schematic next to it, which is all I need, because I just like the shape of it and the size. So what I'm going to do is kind of my own version of that. Using that as a guideline. I'm not sure how I'm going to stick with it, because I want to show you something, and this is a vintage This is hand knit, not by my grandmother, but it was found in my grandmother's closet after her death. And look at this. You can see here's the woven in end. Can you see this woven in end? Do you see that little? Is it two? Oh yeah, there you can. Woven in end. So I know this was handmade, hand knit. It's full of dog hair right now. This is acrylic, but my grandmother wore this, and this is one of the few pieces I have. I don't wear this because it's pink, obviously, but it's got these little diamond details and this lace at the bottom. Very, very I can't believe someone put this much, the seed stitch. So what I wanted to do with the chonk that we're doing that cape thing, right? What I wanted to do with the cape was I kind of wanted to take some of this here. So what I'm thinking of doing, obviously I'm not doing this because it's going to be one piece, but I was thinking of doing the raglans the same way with this little bit to come down where we're going to split for the sleeves. I was thinking that would be pretty. We make the slits for our sleeves to come out, for our arms to come out, but I'm not sure. I actually was remembering this different because I thought this was there and it's not. So I keep this just to keep this because I have this and like a pewter bracelet cuff with her initials on. That's all I have from my grandmother. And I know she did not knit. She was not the kind of lady that knit. She's a pretty bougie, so I doubt she ever wore this, to be honest with you. And I don't know who made this. But anyway, I was hoping to incorporate some part of that into my design just so it would make me think of her, but I'm not sure. My whole problem with this is what to do when we come down and we make that slit for the sleeves. Because I want it to fit my shoulders, obviously. And then once we get to the elbow, I want to crack that slit open. And I guess I'm not entirely sure how to do that. I feel like we might need to have some sort of for either side of the slit, some type of enforced, because I'm going to do stocking net, so the stocking net there is going to curl no matter what I do. So I'm thinking we need something, that's why that thing is all braided, that we'll need something that is structural. Is that the word I'm looking for? See, those slits are surrounded by the cable, so you've got the cable coming on either side. So even if we do like just sort of a framing, maybe it's double seed stitch. I'm trying to figure out like what we can put down there that will not curl in, you know what I mean? Because we're going to have to do something the same on the bottom so it doesn't curl in. And I was not wanting to do ribbing because the thing isn't completely connected, because it's open then after the slits. Unless I wanted to reconnect it, which I really don't think I do. But anyway, this whole plan might change because I gotta wear this whip that I got right now and see if I even if I feel like I'm being strangled, if I'm even gonna wear something like this. I'm really glad that the whip is at the point where it is, because I might change and that chunk might be made into that shawl that I wanted to make anyway. So we might not even do it. I don't know. Because these are things I got to think about in the construction, and that is going to need something structural to keep the arm slits like that. Anyway, that's going to be my main project. So if we end up not doing that, I'm just going to make that shawl maybe, or we'll just do a different sweater maybe, because I don't even know where I'm at with this sweater now. We might still be working on that sweater next month. Okay. So for the stash project, because remember I'm adding in a stash project, I'm going to make a top out of the Tweety sheep that we dyed last dye project. Remember, this was pumpkin spice everything. This was orange, and I dyed it black. So this is going to be our top. No big deal. That'll probably be my night project, since I'm not doing any hats. Done with hats. And then once that's done, that Garter cowl, or my next project, could be at night. This next project is kind of hard for me to talk about. This has been hibernating since 2014. 2014 was a really hard year for me. It started with I lost my job, and then just every month something happened. But there is one day in my life that I have a picture of. And this is May 24th, and this is the project I'm about to tell you about. That is my dog Kampa, the tan one, and my dog Kino, the black and white one. And this was in the backyard of our new house. This is what I consider to be the best day of my life. It was one of those moments where you're having it and you're like, this is the moment. This is the moment I would live over and over if I had the choice. This would be like, if heaven is a repeating day, this is what mine would be. It would be this day over and over. And there's other things that aren't in the picture that also made it special. I had my favorite tea. I think it was Lipton, and they were making this blackberry vanilla tea that they don't make anymore, and it was delicious. And I had some music going on, and I remember the exact song that was playing. It was Caribbean Blue by Enya. And in that moment, I just was like, this is the perfect day. This is the perfect moment. This is absolute perfection. I'm, out here with my two loves of my life, doing what I love to do. And it was a completely stress-free day. It was just wonderful. And then my husband came home, and we had dinner out on the porch, or out on the deck, and it was just, the deck is right out there. It was one of those days that was perfect. So that was May 24th. And then the next month, June 23rd, my one dog died suddenly. So I put that blanket away and I haven't touched it. And that was 2014, so it's been 7 years. I'd like to finish this blanket. So I'm not saying I'm going to finish this blanket this month, but I'd like to restart it. And it is made in acrylic. It's baby acrylic. I believe it's all Bernat. No. Yes, Bernat baby. And the pattern is called Manta Hueco Zig Zag by some name I'm going to horribly mispronounce, so I'm not going to bother. But it's very big. And it starts with these granny squares in the middle. And then I just did a granny ripple. I just kept with the hills and valleys. And I worked on it coming out. So I would work one row this way and then I'd work this row. So I kept, I did them at the same speed. So I don't even know this is the right side. So is it? Yeah, maybe. No, I don't. This the right side? This is the right. It's hard to tell because this is because this is rows and this is rounds, because there's 2 rows of each color for the zigzag, but this is only one. So I was thinking we might, I'm at the point where I could add another third. I kind of wanted to stop when it was big enough and end with another thing of these. Do you know what I mean? So it could be in the middle and on the top. But I was thinking we could also add like more if we wanted to, because you could just crochet into that. But I was thinking it might be easy to just start making little squares. Making little squares and putting them, together. Because you actually do the square ends on the pink. And then you put it together you join it with the purple. Well, I mean, you join them to each other. It doesn't matter. Did I join them with the... I don't remember. Maybe I joined them all with the pink. I don't remember. And then did that sounds more like it. Anyway, I have to look at the thing again. But I was thinking I wanted some more of these granny squares in it. So I might pull out some rows. Like, I'm not sure if... Because if we go with the purple's going to be our start and end. So I just started a purple here, so we could pull that out, and that gives us 1, 2, and then the third one could be our ripple. I mean our granny squares again. So that's what I think I'm going to do. I think I'm going to do another thing of granny squares, which would be a good way to step back in, is to do some quick granny squares, right? Because those are always quick and easy. So I'll do a row on top, a row on bottom, and then maybe do 2 more repeats of the ripples, and then finish off with the 3. Because I didn't really have a plan of how big I wanted this to be, except for that it was going to be for me. Because I love pastels, which is a surprise. I love pastels. I love green. I love all the colors in pastels. I just don't like to wear them. So smells like lavender. So yeah, I think we're gonna do that. So this is going to probably be more than 1 month of my crochet, because remember, we're doing one crochet project a month. So I wonder if they're like furs in it. It just smells like lavender. It doesn't smell like them or anything, but it's really hard because it reminds me of that day and generally I love being reminded of them. I love you know, like, even though I get sad, it's still the hardest thing about, for me, the hardest thing about losing those 2 dogs has been that you never say their names anymore. Like, you go from saying their names all the time to never saying them, and no one ever says them to you. And I don't know where I'm going with that, other than that's just one of the things that I like, to be able to say their names. And I don't care that I get a little weepy, because I'm not sad. I'm not really sad. I'm kind of like overcome with love. Like, they leave, but I don't stop loving them, which is, I guess, weird. Grief is a strange thing. My 2 dogs that I got when I was like 21 years old, 20, 21, something like that. I was, you know, just into adulthood, and they were my dogs. So, and I had them for like 14 years. So, you know, that's a long time too. And that's kind of why I save animals, is to, one, honor the person I lost, because they liked cats, and I save cats now. I save kittens, and I save dogs, foster dogs, which is funny because my one dog, Kampa, that was my buddy, he would hate having to share my attention with anyone, so he would hate fostering. He would absolutely hate it. But I do it for him. I do it thinking, if he was lost out there somewhere and I couldn't get to him yet, you know, if something was keeping me from getting to him, that I would want someone to take care of him until I could get there. So that's, I foster so I can take care of someone else's dog until they find them again, you know, even though it's not their last dog. It's just like what I say to myself. So anyway, this is probably the worst time in the world to be starting something like this, because of the headspace it's going to put me in. But I really want this done because I want to use it, and I want to have it to remember them. And I think 7 years is enough. I think it's time that I finish this, and I don't think we'll finish it in January. I think we'll probably finish the 2 strips, and be able to put those back on, and then maybe do 2 more strips, and then work the last 2 repeats before we're able to put them together. So that might be my crochet project for a couple months in a row. I mean, that could also count as a stash project, but I'm trying to do, like, the top will be my night, my night work. And then the chunk will be my main Monday through Friday. And that might be like, the crochet might be weekend, because crochet is so much faster. I could just work that on the weekends and probably be done with it. And then dye project will probably just go. Well, then I still need a project during the day. Okay, so it's probably going to be that my whip, oh my God, I didn't even tell you, with the Bonjour from Espestrico, the mohair thing I'm working on. Because if I like that, I'm just going to start going through my stash and making them with other things. I was even thinking of making them, because that's on a 5, so fingering and lace held together. So I'm like, what if I did 2 of my light fingerings together? They're like 460, whatever the platinum sock is that I always, 460, is it 460 something? I don't remember. Whatever it is. I have lots of those. I also have like single skein of fingering weights. I know I have one that's alpaca. I would love to, it's an alpaca blend. I would love to blend that with, or hold that with a Surrey alpaca, because they do Surrey alpaca like the mohair. I'd really like to do that. Okay, I've told you everything. Got nice squishy mail next week. So also, next week is our last episode of the year, so that's going to be December finished objects, which will probably not be a sweater. It might be a sweater. I don't know. I think I should. I'm gonna try them on and decide right now what I'm gonna do. Oh, these are Black Magic jewelry again. These are Howling Wolves. Can you see them? Howling. With little mirrory. What? Go the back. Little stars. Oh my God, I just love it. I love her stuff. It's so awesome. It's just so cute. I love it. And I love how she does it so they match each other. They mirror. They're not like both going this way, but she mirrors them so they match. Is there anything else to show? I don't think there's anything else to show. I'm pretty sure he showed everything. Yes, nothing extra. Yes, I have some very decadent squishy mail coming next week. So you guys, it's going to be really hard, but I'm going to try to not open the bag until we do the show. Okay. I'm going to try really, really hard. Cause RO keeps enabling me with her luxury yarn finds. And for someone whose aesthetic is the exact opposite of mine, I don't know how I get so much inspiration. I'm like, I want to do that, but black. I want to do that, but black. So, okay, I'm going to go because I got to figure out this sweater. I'm going to finish this mohair so I can wear it, see if I like it. And then if I do, I think everything's going to be done with mohair, because if it's soft and squishy, it's going to be my life now. I'll just like get a bunch of mohair and just dye it black and then just do whatever I want with it, right? I mean, do you like the mohair or the Surrey alpaca? Because I know they both, I'm just going to have to do both and compare, I guess. Well, that's what I'm going to have to look up now. Well, I'm going to wait until I see if that mohair, I like the mohair. If I do like the mohair, then I'll like buy a bag of each and we'll go nuts. Why not? We'll go nuts. We'll go nuts. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Okay. If you have any ideas for that sweater cape thing, I just messed up my earring. No, it's not messed up. It's because I got that collars in it. If you have any ideas for that cape, keeping the structure of the slits, I am all ears. Please message me or leave me a comment below if you have any ideas. I'm thinking seed stitch, because that would be not pull in like ribbing, and then we could also line the bottom with it and it would kind of hang well, I think. Or do I have to like, can I do it while I'm doing it, or do I have to like make it like a separate add-on border? Do you know what I mean? Like, do I have to pick up stitches around the slit and do it, or can I just make it part of the slit? Does that make sense? I've never done something like that before. Maybe I should look at patterns that have that done, that aren't cables, because I'm not doing cables. Obviously, that cable's just done in it as you go. I'm leaving because it's like an hour and 10 minutes, and I got to cut this down and do everything today. So, take care of yourselves. I'll see you next week. Goodbye.